Hi everyone, Huei-Yuan coming to you from Cupertino, California. Today is March 20th, 2020, just before 1:30 over here, and I'm bringing in a special guest, my good friend Andres Aya. Today we're going to be talking about how to record, upload, and share your first teaching video. Because of the current climate with COVID-19, a lot of teachers are at home trying to figure out how to create their lesson plans, and my good friend Dre is one of those teachers. So let me just bring Dre in and say,
Hey,
what's up,
everybody.
Dre? And
Hey.
and Dre, you called me earlier this week. You're one of the teachers who is actively figuring out and putting together the setup for you so that you can create the resources for your students to continue learning this week.
Right.
So
Right.
we're going to introduce ourselves here in just a moment if you might be finding us for the first time, but also we're going to be sharing, our backgrounds as teachers, and we'll have someone who I've been doing this for about 4 or 5 years now, to someone who is actively building it up for the first time, and so you'll kind of get both sides of the fence. And if you're catching this live, thank you so much for joining the stream. If you're catching this after the fact, if you've shared this out with someone, and you can still ask questions on this video, and we'll answer them in the comments below. So without further ado, Dre, how's it going, man?
Good. Just trying to figure out how to work and be a dad and stay home all day.
Yeah, I hear you. Where are you coming from? I know where you're coming from, but tell
Yeah,
everyone.
so I teach. I teach at Fort Bend ISD, and I live in Missouri City, Texas, and I teach at Stephen F. Austin High School as a full-time percussion director, and I also teach at the feeder Sartarsha Middle School and Garcia Middle School. I just teach the percussionists and make sure they're, getting ready for high school. And like I always say, I put sticks in their hands until they have a diploma in their hands. So it's a very cool job to have to teach these kids for 7 years straight, hopefully,
Yeah,
right?
absolutely,
So,
absolutely. So, and my name's Huei-Yuan. If you're finding me for the first time, I'm in Cupertino, California. Dre and I go way, way back. We've actually done a couple other live streams together this week. We went to college together, but we kind of met in high school when we were auditioning against each other from different schools. Dre, you were at,
read your mail.
yeah. Where did you go to high school, Dre?
Eisenhower High School,
Eisenhower.
then Aldine High.
Is Eisenhower the Longhorns also? No,
No, no, no,
no.
no. It's the Eagles.
Eagles. Sorry, I made that up.
Yeah.
I'm from Clear Lake originally, which is the southeast part of Houston. The Falcons, and then we ended up going to school at UT together. But we also marched drum corps together at Cavaliers, and Dre's one of my closest friends now, one of my dear friends that we still have kept in touch all these years, obviously. So we're happy to bring this stream to you and kind of share what we've been working on together this week. Real quick, because we do have quite a few viewers in the room now. First off, thank you so much for joining in the stream today, guys. And if you wouldn't take a moment and share this out on your Facebook pages or in your groups, your teaching groups that you're in, because the more people who see this, this might help them along the way as they're trying to put together their teaching setups, and we're trying to make this as not frustrating as we can. So, okay, well, let's jump into it. We've got the setup today. We'll talk about kind of the steps that we're going through, and the topic of today's session is how to begin teaching lessons online. So, for most of the teachers right now, you are experienced veteran, or maybe you're a beginning classroom teacher, and all of a sudden they're saying, "Hey, you've got to record lessons or figure out how to conduct lessons with your students." And for most people, what do I need to do to start doing that is being left to them to just figure out. So the topic that we're going to talk about today is asynchronous video lessons. You have asynchronous, which means they're not happening at the same time. And then you also have synchronous video lessons, which means maybe you're doing some sort of live stream or group conference type thing. And for today's lesson, we're just going to talk about asynchronous video lessons, because maybe Dre, you can tell them about your level one spit and glue analogy.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, I've been kind of dabbling into this recording process as I've been learning from you, but I am not at all Mr. Technology, and I'm a dad, and I will forget everything in a day. So, I just figured out recently how to make my Zoom recorder here a microphone and get better audio and things like that. But yeah, I very much started with just the basics. You kind of helped me out how to figure out how to use just my cell phone to make some videos, and then I would, got further into I want better audio, and then I got different things, and you kind of help me figure out how to, get a better setup for the camera and things like that. So I'm very much coming at it from, teachers are just so busy. And then when you have a family, it's just hard to get things going. So I think it's good. I catch on quickly, but, you're kind of catching me up very quickly here. But I think for teachers that are going through things right now, they have to kind of figure it out on the spot. Maybe their laptop is still at school. We only had about a 15-minute window to get what we needed from school.
Mm-hmm.
And, who knows, there's different, districts doing things differently. But you might just have your cell phone or your own laptop. And what can we do with what we have and keep it simple for everybody? And then maybe we can get into, like I said today, I did my first live stream, which was like, I've never done that before, and I ran into some issues. So we can kind of figure out some of the kinks for you.
Yes.
Yes. And then just the little things can get in the way. And if we can help out with figuring out those little things, then it's just going to make things a lot smoother for you, hopefully. So might as well. Yeah. We're all going through it. So
yeah. The luxury we have is we do have time. This is probably the most time that we're going to have to spend at home. But time is also of the essence because whereas I've kind of picked these things up over many years of figuring out and struggling, we've got to get these up and quickly for these students because they're at home. So we're going to try to fast track your learning curve here. We're going to jump right into it and talk through a few of these points. I do want to mention that if you want to find like the full show notes for this, we did make an outline for it. If you go to, let me see if I can pull it up here. It's going to be one of the ending slides. This URL, huei-yuan.com/teachers. I've put these more detailed show notes. So if we mention a software or something, we're just going to follow the structure of this outline. So if you want to pick that up, you can kind of follow along. Even after the stream, it'll be available. So the first thing, Drake called it spit and glue because this is basically what you need to get done. I think we can get through this in the next 20-25 minutes. And then, again, we'll take a few questions if there are any. If there aren't, no worries. We're going to be doing another stream about this later on and more about that at the end. So the first thing I'd mention is gear and software. And most commonly for any creator that's doing this for the first time at the beginning, you're going to say, oh, well, in order to do this, I need to get a Zoom microphone, or I need to get a webcam, or I need to get this, I need to get that, I need to get this. And what I would encourage all the teachers out there right now is you probably already have what you need to get started. If you have a basic smartphone with a camera, you can probably do everything that you already need from that smartphone. If you have a laptop that has a camera and a built-in microphone, you can probably do everything that you need from that. So don't let the technology or the software get in the way. Between free software and what you already have, you can probably do everything that you want to do. Did you find that to be the case for you, Dre, when you were doing?
Right. So what I'm trying to do right now I know we're trying to make this for all teachers, not just drummers, but everything's kind of shrouded still in mystery. Are we going to have UIL? Am I going to have my percussion ensemble concert? But one thing I know for sure that I need to do is we need to do auditions. And so that's something I can kind of push out YouTube videos explaining what I want to see, or me playing a run through of the snare or mallet or doing an explanation on each line. And I can push that out to them and they could be working on those things on their own. And so, yeah, I really didn't need much for that if I'm just doing a one-way teaching right now to get that, to them, and they can work on it on their own time. So, yeah, I just started with my cell phone. I know we're probably going to talk about adding things later, but, you had mentioned to me, a couple months back about getting kind of a stand for my microphone.
Can you hold that up for a second, Dre? So what
I'm trying to figure out.
That stand Dre's holding is this weird Frankenstein stand that I concocted probably like 2 or 3 years ago, but it makes your phone basically a stand that you can clamp anywhere. Most commonly, if you're in a band room on a music stand.
You can balance your phone wherever, but that was the first thing. Like, where do I put this and have to balance it just right? You can make it work,
Yeah.
But that's later on. We can talk about little, cheap little products that can kind of make the experience more seamless. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
For
teachers, just concentrate on getting the information to your students. So don't let the technology and software get in the way. Just focus on connecting, communicating to them, and creating the lesson plans that you're trying to construct to keep their learning going. Okay. The second tip I would offer is just go to where they're already spending their time. So don't worry about signing up for some new software or something crazy. If it's something like one of the basic softwares that we're talking about, like Zoom or Skype, I think that's totally doable. But if it's a whole new platform where people have to register and it's a thing, I would say go to where they are. And for most of the students that I've been teaching over the years, YouTube is a very easy central place that they're already watching videos. And with YouTube, you've got your Gmail and your Google Drive, and there's several benefits that will come with that. So we're going to use that as kind of our main watering hole today for this example. And that's actually what Dre did and used for his first live stream this morning, right?
Yeah, YouTube Live, yeah. And I've never done that before, so...
Yeah, it's literally been in less than a week that we've been kind of getting you up and running, right?
Yeah.
And the guy was already live streaming this morning, so... Killing it over here. Okay, so we're here. And I'm for everyone who's watching this, I'm kind of learning as we're doing this as well. This is some of the new streaming technology that I've been experimenting with, so you're seeing us share and also learn on the fly as well. So thanks for participating. So step one, creating the video. So let's talk through it. For most people, they have a smartphone that they can use at their disposal. And this is what I would tell my friends who are calling me this week and they're teaching for the first time. My aunt called me this week. She's the principal at a Chinese school on the weekends, and so she's trying to take all their teaching online. I've got other music teacher friends who are setting this up, and I would say just take your phone, and the three things that you need to know about shooting video are the picture, the sound, and the lighting, right? And lighting and sound kind of go together, or lighting and picture actually go together. So for picture, framing is going to be your first bit. The distance that the camera is away from you, that's going to allow you to show your instrument. So depending on what instrument you're playing or whatever it is that you're teaching in the shot, you've got to set it up far enough, and that kind of goes back to that stand that Dre was showing that allows you to clip it to things that are available in your room, but you can put it on a shelf, get creative. The height, typically you don't want to be shooting up at yourself. If you can be eye level or even like a little bit higher, that'll give you just a nice framing of the shot. And then the angle of the shot too, just make sure that you can see what it is that you're doing. So if you're doing classical guitar or percussion or trumpet or clarinet, make sure that you can see whatever it is that they need to be able to see as they're watching the teaching video. What are some of the picture things that or the framing video things that you've noticed, Dre?
Well, I remember when I was making my first video and I was kind of sending you screenshots of like, how does this look? What do you think? And we're drummers, so there's a lot of technique involved. And you remember the first thing you were saying, like I think 45 degrees is a good angle. Sometimes dead on, you can miss certain things. Yep. But your instrument, what your students need to see. I think we're probably getting into this soon enough, but then it comes down to your sound. And that was the next challenge that I found. For example, I tried to record a video with an actual snare drum and ran into a lot of issues with the snare being way too loud, and then you couldn't hear my voice, and then the camera's too far away. So, that's something you need to keep in mind. If I were to redo some of my videos, I might just keep it all to pad. That way there's not such a, big range between my voice and the instrument being too loud. Mm-hmm. So, obviously there are solutions on the next level with getting to level 2 of this, but we're trying to keep it very simple right now, mm-hmm. and we'll get to that second level later. But yeah, you have to be aware of if your computer or your phone is far away, you're going to need to speak up, and your instrument can't overpower what you're doing. So
what you want to listen for, and you might hear this, is the levels peaking. So if we're in the microphone, it's too loud, you get that distorted sound. So I would say the two things that you could use if you're using your phone, for example, is mic placement. Make sure that you've got to find it so that the phone you're able to see what you need to see, but if the phone is too far away, you'll have to speak up so that the microphone can pick you up. But also, if it's too close to you, then with a drum, or if you've got the bell of a trumpet or a horn going right into it, it may cause the audio to peak. A lot of phones are actually really good about this because they have built-in limiters in them so that they don't peak or distort, but they still will if it's too loud. And then playing off axis too. So let's say my microphone is here right now. If I'm playing an instrument, maybe I don't want to point the bell right into the microphone if I'm also talking to it. Maybe you play off axis to the side. So you'll have to do a little bit of experimentation with it to get the best with what you've got.
And again, right now, what we're talking about is basic level. I know there are probably people out there that go, all you have to do is this, this, and that. Like we're trying. This is supposed to be very simple, just your cell phone or just your computer.
Yeah.
We'll get to that other solutions later. So
in a future video. Okay.
Yeah.
And then the last thing that you see, I've been seeing a lot of like Zoom meetings. People are like, oh wow, we're doing conferences, and in the work that I've been doing in the last couple years now, I've been doing exclusively video conferences, with teams. And if you're doing these video conferences, I see the screenshots of them. Something that's really simple, that's free that you can do is just if you get good lighting, you can actually fix a lot of the image issues. So if you set up so that the window, if you're by a window and the window's on your face or coming from the side and not behind you, if the window's behind you, then it'll create that overcast in your face and your face will look dark. You could put a lamp to you if that's convenient. You've got an extra one around the house that you can set up, or better yet, you can do it outside, the natural lighting at golden hour, early in the morning or the early evening. That's also great too. Okay, so that's your first tool or weapon that you can use. The second one is your computer. Most computers come with a bunch of free software that you can employ right away. So we've listed a couple here. Quicktime, which is available on Mac and PC. iMovie.
And I didn't even realize, full disclosure, like I work with QuickTime, but I didn't know you can make a video, with QuickTime.
Yeah, usually you use to watch a video, right? But you're not shooting.
Right. Yeah, I had no idea. So it's, it's things that you can do that you already have and you don't even realize you can use.
Yeah.
I can't remember with iMovie. Did you say iMovie you did find a way where you could make a video?
Yeah. If you go into like import and you can select the input and you can select your camera in the upper left-hand corner. I'll show you later. We have a couple comments coming in, and I should mention real quick as well, guys. If you're watching the stream, even if you play, just type in like, hey, what's up from Houston, Texas, and type in where you're watching from. But we've got some friends who are coming in the room, and of course, if you have questions, and most importantly, if you have suggestions, if we have little things that you can throw out there, this is an opportunity for us to learn as well. It's just about putting all the information in one place so people can find this video after the fact and benefit from it. So, Drumline AV, welcome to the room. Drumline AV says, oh snap, these guys. And he says, and Drumline AV is very experienced with shooting video, uploading video. Thanks for everything that you do for the percussion community, Drumline AV.
Sure.
Lighting is everything, they say. Start with lighting first. Hardware won't matter if the image looks terrible. Totally agree. And it's amazing how you can have a terrible camera with good lighting can give you a decent image, but an amazing camera, even with terrible lighting, is still going to look bad. So lighting is key. Okay, so with QuickTime, real quick, you can record yourself and shoot a video like this. I don't know if you know this, but you can also record like audio, just like an audio recording with it if you want to do overlays. Yeah. You can also do a screen recording too. So like, let's say you're doing something on your computer screen and you want to record just the screen and share that. Very powerful tool for free. It usually comes with most devices. iMovie, if you want to start editing things. So later we'll talk about doing just like a one take and upload, which is going to be your fastest way of doing it. If you want to get into some editing, then you can use something like iMovie or Windows Movie Maker on a PC to put those together. And then, of course, your combo that we're talking about, which is, do I have a scene for this? Maybe, no. So your combo, I wrote it here. Combo is if you're using a combination of your phone and the computer, right? So maybe you can, really with iPhones, you can even edit the videos on your phone. It's not super convenient. Like if you just want to chop off the beginning and the end, I might recommend that, or just uploading it as is. But you can also take those videos and import them from your phone to your computer. I know, Dre, you learned some things about that this week as well. Right.
Well, again, I'm not Mr. Technology here, but yeah, I mean, I didn't realize you could AirDrop it, and with my Apple products, very easily. I was always trying to wire in and click and drag it into there, and this AirDrop thing that I just learned about just makes it a lot easier. I can just make the video, put it in my computer. I need to edit a couple things. But again, if we want to keep it simple, if you're trying to do one take and just export it to YouTube, you should have your game plan and your lesson plan and make sure that's pretty, doesn't have a lot of dead time and pretty seamless. And then, I don't know if we want to get into YouTube. That's something I learned recently, is how to just go straight to YouTube from my phone and make a video. I didn't know how to do that, and I figured that out recently too. So
yeah, I think we made a note about that under the uploading and title info options section. So yeah, you can do so much with your phone. And Drumline V, thanks for the comment over here. Drumline V says most cell phones shoot really great stuff nowadays. Any iPhone released in the last 3 years and most Androids are great. Plus, you can edit using iMovie or your phone, iPad, or Mac. AirDropping files back and forth is a quick and easy way to do it. So AirDropping is Mac, iOS specific between a phone and a Mac computer. You can also hardwire it in. You used to have to use a program called Image Capture, which I think is still on the Catalina system. If you just go into your Spotlight and search Image Capture, you can hardwire. But AirDrop is so fast. And I think with the new systems, I recently looked this up. I think there's no loss in image quality or file resolution when you do the AirDrop. So definitely so easy and so quick. Anything else before we go to step 2? So that's capturing your video on the phone, on the computer. Just turn the camera on and shoot. I would say this too, and this was definitely the case for me when I first started, is it feels strange talking to a camera by yourself in a room when you first do it. And it's going to feel awkward, but the only way to get over that hump is to start doing it.
Right.
And I've been watching some other educators make these videos this past week, and one educator said something that really stuck with me, which is for a lot of teachers, for a lot of students, teachers are that social anchor for them that they see every day. And so if you're kind of on the fence about making these videos, think about your students. You're doing it for your students, and they see that familiar face. It might be actually very comforting for them.
Well, yeah, you had mentioned that the other day, and I was like, you're right, and I miss my students like crazy, and so, I just made kind of a YouTube update telling them what's going on, because they're hearing all these things that are happening in their school and community, but they're probably thinking, well, drumline tryouts are starting Wednesday, and so I just made a little quick video with my phone, and then pushed it out. Just also to make sure they're seeing you and feeling more comfortable, and like feeling a little more normal. Yeah. But it's kind of funny getting used to it. Even today in my live stream, you hang up the phone and you're like, all right, man, I'll text you later. At the end of my video, I didn't know how to peace out, So at the end of my video, I go, all right, man.
You're like trying to turn it off.
I was like, I just called all of you, man. Okay, that was weird. All right, I'll talk to you guys later. Whatever.
No, it's good. Okay, so let's say you've shot your video. If you have any questions about how to shoot video, please leave us a message or a question in the comments. But you can also, of course, use YouTube. And I would say for all these technology things, one of the things that's been admirable to watch Dre do this week is he's picking away at it a little bit every day. And part of it is just we were talking about this in one of our actual drumming streams, which is you have that aha moment where you can't do something. Even before we did this stream today, I couldn't figure one of the connection things in our live stream setup today, and Dre watched me sit there and kind of like fester in my frustration, and then I figured it out, and I was like, okay, boom, we got it. And so you're gonna have those moments. If it's slow going, don't be afraid to reach out for help, and you'll get it. I know all teachers can do this with all the things that we do normally as teachers day to day. Okay, so you've shot your video. Step 2, now you're gonna upload this video. There's quite a few options of where you can upload it. Because we're saying we're using our Google tools for this. Again, YouTube is where students can already go in. They don't have to have a YouTube account either. They can just watch it, but if they already do, even better. But that's also tied to tools like Google Classroom or Google Drive, where you can be linking other files that Dre's going to talk about. If you're using Facebook, I've used Facebook for quite a few things for maybe the adult audience, but I know that less high school students are hanging out on Facebook now. The benefit of it is you can create a private group where just the students are in there. But again, as a parent now, I totally understand why parents may not want their children on social media doing those kinds of things. So keeping in mind that technology is not equitable to all your students. There are going to be, Wi-Fi access limitations or access to certain platforms. So again, YouTube is kind of just out there for everyone to use, which is why we use it kind of as our central platform choice here.
I know my students will be on YouTube, so that's why I chose to do YouTube Live today. and then any of my videos that I'm making and pushing out through YouTube because I know they're there.
Do you want to talk about how you can integrate the video with maybe some of those additional? I think we wrote this later for title info and options, but you can talk about like using Google Drive for the additional resources.
Yeah. So I mean, I kind of knew how to do this, but yeah, if you have your Google Drive, you can upload your PDFs, and I just talked to you about that today. I can do this with MP3s as well. In your Google Drive, you can create shareable links. So when you pull it in there and you create the new document or MP3 or what have you, you can go to sharing, and then you just trying to create a link, and you can copy paste that link. And I put all those. I have a couple video links and then PDF links, and I'm going to be adding MP3 links into the description into a YouTube video that I've created. That way everything's in one spot. Like I have a music directory that my school hosts, but I don't want my kids to have any excuses. And when they're going to that YouTube update, I want everything kind of in the description where they can just get to everything in one spot. So I have links directly to the Google Drive with PDFs and soon MP3s and other videos that I've made in YouTube as well.
Yep. So there's going to be friction on both sides of the fence. For the teachers, you're figuring out how to make and upload these videos. For the students, you're trying to minimize that friction. So, that's why we're going with kind of YouTube as our option here. No kid does not want to watch YouTube, right? So, okay. So uploading the video, the benefit, the note that we just wrote here is that you can do it directly from your phone.
Right. I don't know if we want to go through that.
Yeah. Why don't you show it if you don't mind?
Okay.
Or just holding it up on your...
Again, I made these videos, but I'm like, okay, how do I get it to YouTube now? And I was like going through my computer and trying to figure out how to. I was going through my computer, and then I was putting it on iMovie, even though I wasn't going to edit anything. And then who knows how much memory I'm wasting. But I don't know if we can see this here.
Yeah, that looks good.
But yeah, there's a little icon here with the camera. I know most of you are like, well, duh. Well, I didn't know this, and I'm sure other people didn't. You click on that camera there, and I think Huei's, yours look different too. But then you have all your videos that you've made, and you can click on that. And then even when you can go live on there on your phone, but you just click on the video you want to create. And even when that pulls up, you can actually, if you had a bad intro or a bad outro, you can actually trim it a little bit and then just upload. And then it creates your link, and then you're good to go.
Yeah, I don't know why this is the case, but on mine there's a little
like a plus
button on the camera. That's not focusing. Sorry, my autofocus is not working.
Mine did, yeah.
And then I have a couple options, which is like you can do the video, you can go live, and then there's a post option also. I don't know if that's like an operating system thing or, I don't know. But mainly what you're going to need is you can go straight from the stock YouTube app and upload a video to the site. And of course, if you go live, then you don't have to upload anything. You just go live and then you share the link out with your students. But we're going to talk about that in a later session, how you can use live streaming, the benefits that come with that as well. From the computer, you would just go into the same thing, the camera thing, go to YouTube Studio, and then it does such a great job of walking you through step by step. You just drag and drop the video in, and you can do everything from that interface. They very smartly have thought a lot about UI, and they're making it as dummy proof as possible so that they kind of handhold you through the whole process. Very, very, very doable. Once or twice you'll have it under your belt. Anything else to add for uploading video?
I recently, tried to do a QuickTime video, and I didn't even realize I could do that. And that was and I was using that to kind of test my microphone here and learning which wire I need to use, and you were kind of helping me with that. And it's very, very easy, just creating a new video, and something I've never done on my computer before,
Mm-hmm.
So.
Marlon, how's it going? In the comments, Marlon says, I do have a Facebook group for the people I work with, but as you said, I have to be aware of how much time I can live stream due to the data limitations they may have. So if students aren't on Wi-Fi, that might be something worth noting to your students. If they're using cellular data, then that's eating up their data plans. They definitely want to be connected to Wi-Fi. I'm sure most kids are already very savvy about this, but just mentioning it to kids and being aware that some kids may not have access to all that. or have limitations from their parents. I'm sure parents, like, we're both dads, so their parents are figuring it out as we go as well. Okay, let's go to step 3. So step 3, you've shot your video, you've uploaded it, and now here are some of the things that you want to include around the video. So your title and your info options. I did mention thumbnail. I should have maybe, you can create thumbnails. Dre, we haven't talked about this yet, but if right now it'll just pull whatever thumbnail is in that video. But if you want to make a thumbnail, that's like, icing. It's not necessary, but you can do that. But you should put a title.
They give you 3 options on the bottom. I have found the thumbnails that's at the bottom of your YouTube studio, and they give you 3 options. I only picked the best of the 3. I don't know how to. I need to dive into like how can we put a better thumbnail. Yeah,
we could do a.
Now we're doing YouTube Live. You're doing YouTube Live. It gives you like a 3, 2, 1, get ready, and you're like,
and then you're on.
Yeah. Well, then takes your thumbnail picture.
Oh, I saw that. Yeah, when you sent me your live stream link this morning.
Yeah, I didn't know what to do. I was like, all right, here we go.
I thought it captured your personality perfectly.
Yeah, it was good.
Yeah. Okay, so you upload the video. You're in YouTube Studio now. You type in a title for what the video is about. And then this is where in the description you can do all the steps that Dre was mentioning. So if you have associated PDFs that you want to make available or MP3s for the students to be able to access, you can upload them to your Google Drive in advance and then just take those links and drop them in that description area. So again, minimizing friction for the students. They don't have, I can find it, and it's right there in the description, right?
Right. Yeah, I'm just trying to think like, I have a 3rd grader and a 1st grader, kindergartner, and they have different. Just as a parent, you're just like, where do I go again? I don't know how. And like, the kid knows how to log in, and like, I don't know where to go. So everything in the description, because I'm sure teachers have other resources, other websites they have, and it's just another place where you can go, well, here is where everything is, because those parents are just like, I forget where we're supposed to go, and you could just have it right there. No excuses, right?
Yeah.
Put everything. I put everything in the description, even though I'm trying to get everything in one spot. I also want to go, remember we have this other thing where you can go and get other resources that I've told you all year about and you don't remember still.
Yeah. I think one of the things is, with Google Classroom, they've tried to package this for teachers. But one of the things that I've traditionally done, I started experimenting with how technology could facilitate like my private lessons 4 or 5 years ago. When I first moved to Los Angeles, wait, that's not even right. 4 or 5 years ago. It's been like 7, 8 years ago now. I used to say 4 or 5, it's 7 or 8. Gosh, we're getting old, man. When I first got to Los Angeles, I was like, okay, I can use technology to facilitate these private lessons, because I was still doing the notebook thing and writing lesson plans in my students' books or like handwriting exercises for them. And then I started using something like Google Drive. I think I maybe started with Dropbox, but Google just seemed to be easier with the students for some reason. And each student had their own folder, and they have a document in there. And I'm typing their lesson notes. I'm no more this notebook thing, and I forgot my lesson, my notebook, and things like that. So just having it as central and accessible as possible. That's the key. Pro tip from Drumline AV here. They say taking screenshots on your phone or your editing software can help to create easy thumbnails. Oh, so for the custom thumbnails bit, you just on your phone. On an iPhone, it's your home button and the side button. I don't have a new phone, so I don't even know how do you do that if you don't have a home button. This is
I don't know.
I'm still rocking a.
I have
7.
a 6.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Dad's over here.
Google it.
I was gonna add one more thing. I was gonna say Google Drive. It's gone. Okay, let's keep going. So that's uploading information.
You said you're getting old.
I am getting old, man. Dre. I'm watching Dre like write stuff down. He's like, I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna do this. I'm exactly the same way. If it doesn't get written down, then it evaporates from my brain in the next 45 seconds, and someone screams and needs something, and then it's gone. So, okay, step 4. You've made your video, it's uploaded, it looks good to you, and then you watch it to make sure it looks good. It's time to notify your students. So you can use your software of choice. Most of the interaction I do with my students, because I'm not formally teaching at a school right now, is usually email. Students are very connected with their text messaging. They're terrible. I've found with most students to use email, so you actually have to kind of
Yeah.
train them and show them how to do that. I do that with all my private students. I also make sure that I CC the parents so that they see it. I find that most kids are very responsive to texting, but again, I always CC their parents, so just to make sure that everyone knows what's going on. But Dre, you're more kind of in tune with what schools and band directors are using
Right.
for that.
Well, I think most teachers right now are using a lot on Remind, remind.com. I think it was formerly Remind 101, but that's what I choose to do because my percussion group is 30 kids or so and their parents. For band, for a larger group, there's the band app that we started using this year, and that's been really good. That one gets a little further down the rabbit hole with a lot more options, and I find that's just too much for how many students I have. So I stick with Remind. I mean, for some groups, I mean, we didn't put this on the paper here, but for some smaller groups, when I want to be more interactive with the students, like for my wind ensemble percussion group, there's like 7 or 8 of them, and we have a little GroupMe. It's a GroupMe app. I'm sure you've heard of GroupMe, but then I can like easily, go back and forth with them. Did you get the stick bag, or here's a link to the musical reference, but for spitting out information, I think most band directors are either hidden up, or whatever teachers are hidden on Remind. And if you haven't checked it out, the band app is very flexible as well. It takes a little more getting used to that app. There's a little more features in there, but Remind is pretty simple and it pushes out information. The only issue with Remind is you can only have 10 classes. So I have to I have my beginner classes and my 7th and 8th grade classes and my high school, and then I have little subgroups and then lesson groups. So you just got to watch how many groups you have. So I've been pushing out all of my kids and parents are used to my Remind's going out. So I've been pushing out my YouTube stuff through Remind. Plus it just, my idea is that we're going to have update number 1, update number 2, and they know exactly where to go to find these YouTube links. Mm-hmm. So, and then they can also send you messages on there too. But I've been telling them, since this YouTube thing is new for our classroom use, to leave comments since we have that feature in YouTube, because otherwise they get inundated and on Remind with all these questions in it.
Right.
So it might be easier just to put it with the topic instead of just whatever question comes to your mind.
Yeah.
In Remind, it's on the YouTube link.
Yeah.
I think we bet.
Yeah. There's all sorts of activities that you can structure around that. It's basically like a discussion board, where you can facilitate online conversation. And this is how most kids are interacting anyway, right? But if you put those most commonly asked questions and your response as a teacher on there, you can solve a lot of problems for students asynchronously, right? Someone who's not watching it or missed it during the presentation, or like when you watch a video of something and you watch it a second time, you're like, oh, I didn't notice that last time. Maybe they space out for a moment. You have a text documentation, and for some students, they learn better via text versus video, and so kind of hitting it from all the ways. So a call to action, we like to end videos with call to actions. If you've watched this so far and hopefully you're thinking, okay, that sounds pretty doable, I can probably do that. Your call to action is just to make a short video. Maybe it's an update. If you're already shooting lesson plans, shoot your next video lesson plan and try going through these steps. It's going to be a little bit slow going at first, but again, if you do it once or twice, totally confident that you're going to be able to do this with very little difficulty. And then once you get the workflow down, it's just going to be boom, boom, boom. You can just focus on creating the lessons as opposed to how do we get the lessons to the students.
Right. And like I was just talking with my lesson teacher, and he was, he's about to, get information out to the students about taking online lessons. And he was already like, I watched your video, and then it's like, boom, it's right there. Just watch Mr. I's video, and then we can have a lesson over what he went over. So it kind of gets everybody on the same page as well. Yeah.
So for those lesson teachers, or for teachers who maybe, Maya as an example, she was talking about how do we conduct these language lessons where you need to hear someone giving you immediate feedback so that you know what to correct. Our next stream that we're going to do, part 2, will be about synchronous video lessons, some sort of live streaming or group chat situation. The benefits of doing something like that: the students can ask you questions in real time. So maybe you've already done part 1, you made a video, and now they've got questions that they want to ask you as you're explaining in real time. You get that instant feedback as the teacher, which is so critical to what we do. And then we'll talk about some of the softwares that you can use for that. YouTube, Zoom has been very popular. They've also very generously made their software, like the premium version, free for a certain amount of time right now. So I see a lot of people experimenting with Zoom for the first time, and it's I've been using it for maybe the last year plus, and it's also very easy to use and very powerful.
I've never used it, so I'm looking forward to checking that out.
You should try that with like maybe your group me, like a small group first, because you can get everyone on and everyone can hear each other.
Well, I mean, as soon as these online drumline auditions are over, I'm probably going to do some Zoom sectionals with the bass line and then the tenor line and all that. But I was thinking I think that one of the other benefits with these videos is, the parents can actually see you teach.
Yeah.
They kind of get a sense of, they kind of get a real sense of like how is my student being taught, and then wow, this is, hopefully maybe they think it's interesting, or it makes a little more sense to them than just like, oh, you do that drummer thing.
Yeah, my daughter started taking dance lessons last fall, so she's 4 now. This is like her first class, and I love watching other teachers teach and seeing how they do things, and how they do classroom management, and make it fun but still create structure, that whole bit. So and then we'll talk about some of the technology things that you may be aware of, your Wi-Fi speed, things that you can very easily just do in your house to, again, make the best with
basically all the problems I ran into today. So.
Yeah, there are little things that you can do. It's like, oh, if I just do this, and that fixes that problem. So we'll help you through some of that. And then of course,
little issue.
Yeah. And of course, if you're catching this again on the replay, do us a favor and share this out with a teacher friend who might be struggling with this. And then if you have additional questions, let us know in the comments, and then we'll address them in our next video that we make. Those of us who are tapping out those hearts and those thumbs up, thank you so much. We can see that love coming through the stream. Again, we're just trying to do our part here and share out what we've been working on to the public.
And I think this is just a good, I'm learning so much from you. You've been doing this for a while. I'm very much feel like the guinea pig, and if someone wants to get even further and down the rabbit hole with you, that's cool. If you want to hear through the troubleshooting things that I've been learning, I'm on the ground, trying to do this in a teaching gig. So, if you have any, I'm sure you have your information there, but my email is andres.aya@fortbendisd.com, andres.aya@fortbendisd.com. And I'll be happy to help out in any way.
Awesome. And again, this all these show notes, and I'll put Dre's contact info in these show notes later as well, you can find on huei-yuan.com/teachers. Just go to that URL. I just set that page up today. And then let us know what questions you might have as you're getting your video setups set up. So, anything else, Dre?
Yeah, again, this is just the first layer. So this is just bare bones. So I know there's a lot more to get to. So that'll be our next video, maybe the next video. But, there's just so many things to demystify, and also just simple things that, I've had this all along. I just didn't know to push that button.
Yep.
That's been a lot of what I've been doing lately. So.
Yeah. All right, guys. Well, hope you enjoyed the stream. Thanks so much again for joining in and watching us. Hopefully we helped you with some of the tech questions that you've been having. And we look forward to seeing you in our next live stream about teaching lessons from home. Thanks for watching. We'll see you in the next video.